everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paint with Heart. I'm Cindy Harrison, the artist and host of Paint with Heart, and I'll be showing you how to create another ornament in our 2018 Christmas in July series. Before I get going, I want to introduce you to my bestie in LA, and she will tell us all about the word of the week. And here she is, my bestie.
Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I'm Cindy's bestie, Ms. Meliz, or you can call me Melissa. I did that backwards this time. And yes, the word is begin. So here's the cards from my affirmations card deck, and the word is begin. And I'm very excited. It's kind of a strange time to say that we're beginning, but this is a true beginning for me. And that's what's kind of random about pulling these cards. When we plan ahead for these programs, we pick them out randomly from the card deck. And for this week, it was begin. And we put it together with this project, and Cindy chose to put it together with Christmas in July. And how are we going to put that together with begin? But you know what, you can always start again. And what I like to remember, and what I have on the card, is that you have what you need to flourish, grow, and thrive. So at any point when you want to start a new beginning, or when you want to make a change, or even just grow in a new direction, you have what you need already. It just starts with a little seed, a little beginning, something, that little spark. And so I like to think that just making that first step, even if it's sending a card, a greeting card to someone that you care about, can start a whole new relationship or renew a relationship. And so that's what I'm thinking about today when I think about begin. So I don't know if that's what Cindy had in mind, but I don't know. I'm excited to find out. So tell us about it, Cindy.
I shall. Thank you. And if you're watching the replays, thank you very much for being here. Here we are. I have a music ornament. On the Christmas note, it is a piece of wood. We sealed it with multi-purpose sealer. I base coated it with 1 coat of light buttermilk. On the back, I put the music note paper and decoupage that on the back. Not on this one, but on the original, and I will do it to this as well. In the video on my website of how to prepare for this, and we're going to take this and do what I call a slip slap, get that mottled background look. And so now that I have this mottled finish here, I'm going to blow dry this, and then we're going to go around the edges with some raw sienna. Let's see, I'm going to go in and with my number 12, pick up on the corner. Now, if you need to take a brush, and if it's dry, you can pre-wet. And with the brush side loaded, you can then start applying this raw sienna to the edges. And I think, Melissa, didn't you say you thought it looked like a cookie when I was done with it?
Yeah, I thought it looked a little bit like a cookie, like a baked cookie.
So, and if you were doing this on a larger box or a rectangular box, you can actually trace the music note on that box. And here's a thought: take your music tissue paper, decoupage the box, trace this music note on it, and then paint it out so that it looks just like you put this on top of the music note. It would be really cool, I think, anyway. It's a thought.
You're so creative.
If it's dry, go ahead and trace your pattern onto your surface.
Okay,
So
I've got my little
let me see what you got.
I've got my little cookie. I'm not really paying attention to side loading, but it's looking like a cookie.
It is. You're doing great.
Okay, to catch up.
So if we're ready, this is a 10-aught liner, and this all is done with black. And to do line work, you want to have a little bit of moisture in your brush. And I have some drips here. And if you put the drips down and pull the paint away, paint away from the puddle, and it's kind of soupy, like ink consistency, but not like Niagara Falls. And then you take your liner brush, go over to your surface. Oh, my hand's in the paint. I like, if I'm up between my knuckle and this knuckle, I can control how fat or how skinny I make my line. And then I will draw my line up. And then I can lay it down a little bit and draw these lines. And then I have enough paint in my paintbrush that actually it continues on and I don't have to reload halfway through my line. So always try to start on this bar here. I'm gonna make it a little thicker. Always try to start on that bar there. When I do this, not that you can see me, but from my elbow, I'm moving my whole elbow this way. I'm not doing this. Does that make sense? I'm not doing this. I'm moving my whole arm. So.
You have a very steady hand.
Thanks. This way is not the best way for my hand right now. Okay, so I notice a lot of times when I'm watching my students in front of me that the way that they move their arm, the mobility that they allow themselves is what hinders them from executing what they're trying to do. So I always keep in mind, look at the whole picture when I'm trying to. Another one was people sometimes do beanie babies. I heard some teachers have their students do beanie babies under their wrist.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So instead of having the surface here and your wrist planted, the beanie baby lifts your wrist here to the surface, so then you have to be at a 90-degree angle.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
Now you can either make the ball solid with the 10-aught liner, or you can go up to a something that has a little bit more body to it. I might do my 4 round. And the fa la 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 is done the same way. I'm base coating the bow with light buttermilk so that it shows up and I can see it. Now we can, I want to put the green on, but I want to have this based out so I don't have to redo the line work. I'm going to try and get around it just because I'm being lazy. I'm going to hit that with a blow dryer. How to decoupage the sheet music or tissue paper to the background and I use the nail file to take off the excess paper. So I scrub that with the nail file and it removes the excess paper from the edges. And then I use the stencil that comes in with the kit. You get 3 of these tag size stencils in with the Christmas in July kit. And I use that to put words on here. Stencil the Merry Christmas and hope and believe and all that stuff. So easy peasy. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put color around my bow without going over my bow. And I'm going to use a small number 4 Deerfoot brush and the 3 values of green, which are Hauser Light, Hauser Medium, and Hauser Dark. I'll start with the dark, and I'm going to use a lot of the dark, less of the medium, and very little of the light. I'm going to take my number 4 Deerfoot, pounce it in the puddle, and then start to go around my wreath. When I get near the bow, I'm going to change my angle from the whole foot of the, the bottom of the hoof to just the tip of the hoof touching my surface. So when I do that, it's just the tip touching the surface. It's not the whole thing, which like over here, it's the whole thing. See the difference? So make irregular edges. And then when I get near the bow, I go up on the tip. I'm going to pick up Hauser medium green now on the foot of my brush. And when I put this on here, I'm not going to cover up everything. I'm just going to just add some motion, some movement. So I'm not totally obliterating my dark. And I'm rotating my brush so that I don't make all the same marks in the same direction. This is going to be the Hauser Light, and this is even less, very few spots on this one. Kind of far and few between, just to give, again, a little movement.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually, I think I'm gonna base coat start with tangerine. I'm gonna use my 4 round. I'm going to then put a coat of Santa Red over it because her red is transparent and you need to have some kind of a base. Now that that's on, we can do dots of orange first if you want. And you can use your stylus or the end of your brush and put these things down. I want to get more water out of my brush. I just think it brightens up the red a little bit. If the bow is dry, or when the bow is dry, we're going to go with some Santa Red. I'm going around the bow with a little bit of the Hauser Dark. Pick up a little bit of the deep burgundy, and I'm going to add a float to the outer edge of both sides, and then the inner around the knot. And if you want to add one that's a little bit above the bottom, so you leave some of that red showing on the bottom. With my liner brush, I'll take some of this and draw about 3 lines out from both sides. You can add a touch of the lamp black to your deep burgundy, and then I'll also draw a line creating the back side of the bow. And then for the highlight, I'm going to take the tangerine again and add a little dash of color on the top of the knot, outline the top of the bow, and then put some slip slap dash in the center. I have paint on my brush. So if it's too much, just wipe it off and start over. If these are dry, go over top of the dots with the red. I'll blow dry that. Basically what I did here is I will varnish this with a not so soft, whatever it's called, varnish. I'll do a brush on varnish. When you're done with the brush on varnish, then these little tips of berries, I touched up with either a the liquid glass medium or the glossy accents, and with the little tip on the end, just put a dot on each one and make it glossy, and it kind of gives a 3D effect, which is great. But varnish it first. You don't want to put that on and varnish over it. You'll dull down your glass effects, so you have to put more on. But that finishes this. The edges I did with the raw sienna. So just go over the edges with your raw sienna and do that, and those are done, huh? Great.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for those watching the replay. I love to hear from you. If there's anything that you learned or any hints that you want to share with our community to, tips and tricks to help them be better painters, that would be awesome. So thank you for spending time with us, and next time or until next time, remember to always paint with heart. Thank you all. It's wonderful, and I love these classes, and when people come, like today, Becky's here and Ophia's here, and they have lots of new ideas that, they have painted a long time, and maybe they did something differently than I did, and they shared their experience with us. I think it's a great community, and that's why I call us a family, and I'm so thankful for them, and I'm thankful for everyone that comes in my life that has, just tips of how to do things. I'm gonna